What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we have another versus battle between two players now on the Detroit Lions. And today we are looking at two very young players that play similar positions. Austin Bryant, the defensive end / linebacker out of Clemson, and Julian Okwara, the third-round pick out of Notre Dame. Let's get it started. Alright everyone, now before we get into this video, I have a quick little disclaimer on how this one's going to go. If you guys remember my last video where I talked about Bo Scarborough versus Ty Johnson, I literally think there's a chance that one of those guys don't make the team, right? However, this one, not at all. And actually, after looking at these guys, I think they're going to play different positions. So I know that may just completely throw the whole video off a track from maybe what you were expecting. But after looking into these guys, I like what the Lions are building here. I have a lot of hype, and I actually have two comparisons. I actually have a comparison for each of these players to a player that's currently on the Lions, and I think I know what they're going after. And I actually have a cool clip that I will throw in to kind of just show you what they will look like on the field at the same time. So that's what's really going to be awesome. Anyways, let's talk about it. Julian Okwara versus Austin Bryant. So we will still compare these players and go through the numbers, and I'll talk about where they would fit on our defense and what their strengths and weaknesses are. But I do think both of these guys make the team. So maybe I ruined it there by saying it too early. I don't know. Hopefully you guys still enjoy it. We're going to start off with Julian Okwara. Now I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I have a full video breaking down Julian Okwara that I did, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, where I did after we drafted him. I did a full video breaking him down, his pros, his cons, his weaknesses, what I think he would be for the Detroit Lions. So if you guys want to know more about Julian Okwara, check out that video. I really don't like to just repeat the same information because, that's not good for anybody. So I would just keep it short and sweet here and what I think he will be for the Detroit Lions. So looking at Julian Okwara's numbers, he is a 6'4", 252-pound edge rusher out of Notre Dame. His brother is Romeo Okwara, who is currently on the team. They will be living together, which is pretty cool. And when you look at his numbers, they're pretty good. I would say they're not anything that's super crazy, so you may not get super excited by just looking at the numbers. However, there's a lot of variables to take into consideration, and when you take those into consideration, it makes the numbers look even better. For example, in 2016, he only played in 4 games, so he was just getting started, really didn't have any playing time, only 4 total tackles, really nothing going on there. But in 2017, he started to get things rolling. He had 17 total tackles in 9 games played, 2.5 sacks, and 4 tackles for loss. Again, not bad. He's just starting to get used to it, and starting to get warmed up, but in 2018, he broke out, man. In 2018, he played in 13 games, so he has a full season, 13 games, 39 total tackles, 8 sacks, and 12.5 tackles for loss. Those numbers are great. That is what I like to see from Julian Okwara. Those are third-round pick numbers. Those are second-round pick numbers. He was projected to actually be a second-round pick. Some people thought first-round pick. We got him in the third round. A lot of people believe that he was an absolute steal for us. And then in his final year, 2019, he played in 9 games, 19 total tackles, 5 sacks, and 7 tackles for loss. Now, keep in mind, the 9 games, he broke his leg near the end of the season, and that's why his numbers didn't look as good as they did in 2018. But what you'll see here is that he doesn't have tons of total tackles. That's just not what he does. He is a pass rusher. This guy gets to the quarterback. Going through his pros and cons, that's the easiest way to sum it up. This guy gets to the quarterback, and he has the athleticism, and he has the potential. He is looked at as one of the top pass rushers in this draft. What does he not have? Stopping the run. Now, I don't think he's as bad as people say. I think it's okay, but it's not very good, right? He's not good at it. I'm not going to say that's a strength. It's not a strength. It's definitely a weakness, but I don't think it's as terrible as some people say. But it's definitely not, his strong suit. So stopping the run is one of the concerns, but at his position where I believe he will play, which is the jack role like Devon Kennard was, and that's where I think he will start. Devon Kennard wasn't known to get tons of tackles with the Detroit Lions. He was more of a get pressure guy. He came to the quarterback all the time. He didn't drop back into coverage. Now, Julian Okwara is a little bit better at that, in my opinion, and he can drop back into coverage, so if the Lions need to, they can. But Devon Kennard never really did that. Julian Okwara probably won't do it too often. He's just strictly a pass rusher, and that's what the Lions need. The Lions don't blitz slot. They only have a few guys on the D-line. They don't blitz slot. That's not Matt Patricia's scheme. That's not how he runs things, and that is okay if you have players on the D-line, on the front 7, that are going to get pressure alone, and Julian Okwara is that. That's why we brought him in, okay? Because, one, he's related to his brother, which is going to help out when, everything's going on and, we're not able to have the whole team together. It's good to have your brother on the team, which can help you, catch up the speed really quickly. That's probably brought in so many scheme fits and guys that they thought could help out right away and have an immediate impact, because it's hard when everything's pretty much closed off and you can't get together. He was given a 6.3 prospect grade, which basically believes he will be a starter within 2 years. I think he starts this season, and if he doesn't start, he's going to get a lot of snaps. This guy has a lot of potential. The injuries are a little bit concerning. The production isn't super great, but I think he has a lot of potential. He is extremely athletic, crazy athlete, man. This is oh my gosh, you watch this guy, it just flashes. He's also got enough power to where he can go through an offensive lineman. This guy has all the potential in the world to be really, really good, kind of like the other guy we're about to talk about in a second, and that is Austin Bryant. So I'm going to give you a comparison for each of these players. I am going to be comparing him, obviously, to Devon Kennard, who is no longer with the Lions anymore. He's released this offseason. Devon Kennard is 6'4", 256 pounds. Julian Okwara is 6'4", 252 pounds. Nearly identical in size, and I think that's exactly why the Lions went after this player. And it's no coincidence that they released Devon Kennard before the draft. They got Julian Okwara, and that is their straight-up replacement in my eyes. Now let's talk about the other player in this video, Austin Bryant. Austin Bryant is known as a defensive end / linebacker coming out of Clemson. He has the versatility to do both. We saw him do a little bit of both. He's actually worn 2 numbers at Clemson, number 91 and number 7. So there you go. He has that little bit of versatility. He is 6'6", 265 pounds. Definitely a big dude. Some people think he's 280. I've seen up to 280. I've seen 260, but I've seen 265 the most, so I went with 265, which is kind of in between, kind of. When you look at his stats, which we're going to look at as Clemson stats, because last season he only played in 4 games with the Lions. He came in, he was injured when he came in, and we just saw him near the tail end of the season, but he really didn't get much playing time, which I'm not 100% sure why, because a lot of people were hurt. But again, I think they were just trying to make sure, hey, don't get re-injured. We need you for next year, so we're not going to really risk it too much. So, he didn't play very much at the end of last season. I think he's going to get way more of an opportunity, though, this season. So he's 6'6", 265, definitely has the size to jump down on their D-line and the athleticism to back up to an edge rusher position. And when you look at his stats from college, they are remarkable in his final 2 seasons. Remarkable at Clemson. So he's with a lot of talent. Clelin Ferrell came out of the draft that year as well. Now, ACC isn't the best conference. I don't think it's as good as the SEC or Big Ten, but they do have a couple of teams, couple of outliers like Clemson that are very, very good. And in his first season, he played in 9 games in 2015 where he had 22 total tackles and 1.5 sacks for 2 tackles for loss. Just getting started. 2016, then he played in 7 games where he had 13 total tackles and 2.5 sacks. Again, kind of getting going just like Okwara did. But in those final 2 years, oh, snap, he just showed you something. So in 2017, he played in 14 games. He had 50 total tackles, 8.5 sacks, and 15.5 tackles for loss. That is a stat line right there. With the talent around him, he took advantage. He was able to get to the quarterback. This dude is explosive as heck, super explosive. And again, that size, the explosiveness of that size is very, very impressive. And then when you look at his final year of 2018, he played in 15 games, 45 total tackles, again, 8.5 sacks, and 15 tackles for loss, man. The numbers are really, really good. And we were excited because this is a guy that we selected in the 4th round. Like Okwara in the 3rd round, people are excited because we think it's a steal. Just like Austin Bryant, we selected him in the 4th round because of an injury. Julian Okwara coming off of a knee injury, and then Austin Bryant also had an injury. I know he had a torn pectoral muscle. I don't know what else he had. I can't exactly remember. But this guy has a lot of potential, just like Julian Okwara. And we haven't seen him much. Last season, he only played in 4 games where he had 8 total tackles and 1 QB hit, but that's it. We really didn't see him much. Only had 130 snaps. When you look at his pros and cons that I was able to take away, the 3rd-team All-American in 2017 and a 2nd-team All-ACC player in 2017. But this guy is extremely explosive, man. He's fast. He's a pass rusher just like Julian Okwara. The production is obviously really good. He's rangy. He's lanky. One of the things that him and Julian Okwara have in common is that longness, the long arm, rangy reach. Everything like that is something that him and Okwara have, and it's something that Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn have been drafting for really ever since they came here, right? Jelani Tavai is known for that as well from the interior linebacker position. We bring in those long guys that can switch positions, that can move things around, because that's kind of what Bill Belichick had going on with New England, and that's what the Lions have brought to Detroit. And that's something that, we're seeing once again, another lanky player drafted in Julian Okwara, just like Austin Bryant. When you look at his cons, again, not great against the run, but again, that's something that we've seen because these guys aren't used too much against the run. You notice how all of our linebackers are basically run stoppers. These guys are to get to the quarterback, and that is their job. And then we have a very good secondary. We try to stack the secondary so we don't need to drop back in coverage too often. We try to have the D linemen that we do have that are going to the quarterback, because there's usually not a lot, able to get there, and that's their specialty. And then the linebackers stop the run, right? It makes sense. It makes sense on paper. So he's not great at stopping the run, but again, that explosiveness is pretty dang impressive. So when you look at both of these players, they're very good. And you may think, okay, well, which one's going to win the role? Well, I think they're both going to make the team. I don't think either of these players, make the other one get cut. And I think they actually play a little bit of different roles. However, with the versatility and the ability to move around, these guys could interchange probably pretty easily. What my comparison is for Austin Bryant is Trey Flowers. So like I mentioned before, Austin Bryant, 6'4" to 6'6". People have said different things. 265 pounds. Look at Trey Flowers, 6'2", 265 pounds. Exactly the same weight that I came with here. It's crazy. I mean, they're obviously drafting a certain type of player. That's why they brought in Trey Flowers. Is why they drafted a certain type of player at Austin Bryant here, because they can do different things. They can drop back into the linebacker spot, and he can come in and be a pass rusher. And both of these guys have great potential. And I'm going to throw up a clip on the screen, and you're going to see Devon Kennard. He's playing more of an inside role at the jack role. That's what I'm saying, because Okwara is going to move around a lot and be like that. And then you're going to see on the right side, you're going to see Trey Flowers. And that's kind of just imagine if Devon Kennard with Julian Okwara, which is Trey Flowers, imagine him being Austin Bryant. Okay, roll the clip. There you go. As you can see, that's what it looks like, and that's what it could look like with these two guys. I think they both make the team. I think they're both in the rotation. I think Okwara could start. I don't know if Austin Bryant starts this year because, we don't have that many defensive linemen on the field at once, but he's going to compete, right? Because Trey Flowers is going to start, and we know Shelton's probably going to start. But then he's going to compete with Romeo, with Romeo Okwara, with Deshaun Hand for his starting time and to get more time. And both of these guys are going to be on the field. Both of these guys are going to rotate in. They're speed rushers or get to the quarterback. That's your job. And I'm excited to see both of these guys on the field at the same time. So who wins the matchup? I don't know. Okay, they're both going to complement each other, and I'm super excited to see what they bring to Detroit. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching.